All right, welcome to the third installment of this four-part series on building a dubstep kick drum inside of Ableton Live using just devices native to Live, or at least the Ableton Live suite, because we are using Operator. Hopefully you have that, hopefully you're following along, and this is the sound that we're looking for, the sound that we're looking to create. So that's a pretty fat kick drum if you ask me, and today we're going to be making this transient sound. We've already made the bass, we've already made the top level noise, so this is the sound that we're going to make today. Pretty sweet, right? So let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to turn that off to save CPU. And I'm going to come down here and hit Control-Shift-T to add a new MIDI track. Come over to this MIDI clip and click, drag with Control to duplicate, and take an instance of Massive and put it on top of there and solo it out just so we can hear. Cool, and the next thing I'm going to do is come into my oscillator mode, and I'm going to turn it on 3 oscillators being affected by the top one. And for this particular sound, we don't need these 2 middle oscillators. We're just going to use the bottom one and the top one. We are going to bring the chorus down to 0.5. And we're also going to draw in our own oscillator. So I'm just going to turn the 16 on, turn these on like that. Oops, something like that. Pretty cool, right? And as far as that first oscillator is concerned, we want the sustain all the way down, and we want about half of this decay time. So I'm going to put 356 just for fun. Pretty cool, right? And then we're going to come to this top oscillator. We're going to bring it down, the chorus to 0.05. We're going to bring up the volume or the level to -12. Pretty sweet. We're going to change the wave table to saw 16. We're also just going to turn this feedback up to 100%. Pretty cool. On the filter, we're going to turn it to a low 12. We can leave the frequency, turn down the resonance all the way to 0.3. We're going to come over to the envelope, and just all we need to really adjust here is the decay time, and I'm just going to type in 17.7 milliseconds. I'm also going to change the slope here to be -72 to give it this kind of crazy curve. Pretty cool. And the next thing to do is going to come into the pitch envelope, and here I'm going to turn it up to 100%, the spread to 100%. As you can hear, it's already pushed that out to the left and the right, but we can make some more adjustments to make it sound a little bit better. For the initial, we're going to go -48. For the peak, we're going to go +48. For the sustain, -48, and for the end, -48. Pretty cool. And for the envelope, we're going to do just 18.6 thereabouts milliseconds on the decay, and just turn up the release time to about 54.6. So as you can hear, we're pretty much on our way, and then we just want to adjust the slope just a tad. Bring up the slope on the D to 48%. And that's pretty much it. We can also bring up the volume just so we can hear it a little bit better, maybe -2 or 3. Pretty cool, right? So now if we play all 3 of these together, this is the sound that we have before we adjust the levels, before we add effects, before we add some compression to kind of seal the deal. This is the sound that we have after these first 3 tutorials. And as you can see, we're really redlining, so what I'm going to do is just highlight all of those and bring them down just a tad. And that sounds pretty good to me. The next tutorial, we're going to go ahead and just wrap all 3 of these up into an instrument rack. We're going to throw some effects on the end of it, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up into one more rack and add some more effects, and then map everything out into the 16 macro knobs, so we have a lot of control over the sound of the final kick without having to get too deep into the instrument and effects chains. Anyway, I hope you learned something, and we'll see you next time.